Sahara Desert came soon after a global flood?
I think soon after the Ice Age.
Yeah. Yes, you go, Diane.
There is good evidence that the region, which is now the Sahara Desert, used to be a lot wetter. In fact, one quote that I found was 10 times wetter, and people used to live there, and they used to cook quite luscious looking or luscious sounding plant foods, actually. And they found the residues of these in some of the buried artifacts that are still there. It is a good example of how the environment degenerated after the flood. Immediately after the flood, the earth was still moist. I mean, it took a long time for it to dry out. So areas that are now deserts would have been much more lush, where people could live, where animals could live. The same applies to Australia. There are the remains of giant animals, giant vegetation, which is no longer there. So the Sahara Desert was once upon a time the Green Sahara, and that is a term you will come across in the general science news. People lived there. It was much more lush, but it dried out as part of the sort of massive global changes that happened after the flood.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they have found evidence in parts of the Sahara where there were remnant crocodile populations well inland in sort of some oasis type conditions that survived into fairly recent times before it dried completely out and they died out.
We have a few references to the Green Sahara in our fact file. If you go to our fact file, there are a few references to what the Sahara Desert used to be like. And the same goes for other arid areas all over the world, including Australia.